If you're a videographer, photographer, or creative business owner looking to get your time back and scale your revenue, this is the podcast for you. I'm super excited to introduce Taylor and Liz Throne with us today. And we're going to kind of start with Liz and then venture to Taylor, because Liz actually started with photo and then Taylor came in later and did video. So Liz, talk to us about how it all started.
Good old COVID is what made it happen, because I was still in college. I had an internship that was paid and everything, and then I was going to be working there full time. Then COVID happened. I was still a contract worker, so they let me go. We had just moved to Bartlesville. We have our daughter that was
just like one.
Yeah,
roughly.
like almost one. Taylor had his job, and I was jobless, and we just bought our house. So we were stressing about what to do. I didn't like corporate America. It's not my thing. And so it was actually Taylor's idea to start photography. And I was very hesitant. It kind of has to be my idea before it's his.
Yeah.
like many things.
Yeah.
You know.
And so at first he was doing all the like in-person stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I was running the editing and social media, because he doesn't know how to work a MacBook to save his life. So he was doing that for the most part. We weren't into weddings yet. It was just like smaller sessions. And then he's like, hey, you are at home full time and you have more time than I do. So why don't we kind of like swap?
Mm-hmm.
And I was scared, but I was a little nervous.
Everyone gets that way.
Yeah.
I mean, like, you know, it's like you don't know if you're going to have revenue coming in. That's like, I mean, that's a scare. That's what it comes down to, that you're scared. And then Taylor, like, kind of branched on the video side. So how long were you a photographer? And then at what year did you decide, oh, we need video added on?
I think we added video in 2023, roughly, but it was
like
not
at the tail end.
Yeah, definitely not something that we charged for. But originally, I was shooting hybrid.
Yeah,
one of our wedding packages is double photo, right? And on some of those double photo days, I would, make kind of a highlight film for them. Not that it was really good by any means, but that was kind of the goal. And we tacked that on to, I think, like 4 or 5. Maybe
we kind of ran a promo,
then,
essentially.
You came along, we met you.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, crazy.
You literally changed everything for us.
It's so wild. Yeah. So for everybody listening in, so Liz, Taylor, and I, we had just happened to be vendors at the same wedding, and it was like, you know, with weddings, right? Like if let's just say you guys were just the photographers, you almost like dread going to a wedding if you don't know the vendors ahead of time, because you're like, are the vendors going to be like good to work with or whatever?
You're literally spending the whole day with them, and like, what if you don't like work and like gel together well?
But I just remember me and Taylor meshed really well, and we wouldn't stop talking.
Oh,
and
yeah.
We talked about college football for like 2 hours.
I know. And the crazy thing is, we found out during the reception, you had told me, hey, next weekend, you're at that wedding too.
Oh, yeah.
So
that wedding was scary.
Yeah. We might get into that. Maybe not. Maybe in some other episode. But
don't tell our secrets.
But that just kind of goes to show that like vendor relationships can be crucial. Because like we've worked together on stuff, you know, for weddings. Anytime I need a wedding second shooter, I've had Taylor do it for me. And then if I'm booked a wedding date, I give that referral to you guys. And so, you know, it's really important that, you know, if you're a creative business owner, not to think that you're above everybody. Because you better like, you know, you better make a good relationship with everyone, because they might reward you with work or money or whatever it looks like and stuff. And so kind of talk with me about your area. So you're in Bartlesville, Oklahoma. So that's north of Tulsa, Oklahoma. What's it been like in your market?
Dude, we don't shoot at all in Bartlesville.
Yeah. We've shot maybe the whole time that we've done this, so it's been like 5 years, 6 years. We've only shot 3 weddings actually in the town of Bartlesville.
Okay. Yeah.
Everything else is more in Tulsa or like Oklahoma City area. We've been to California.
Bartersville's a great
Texas.
community,
Yes.
but a lot of the people, even with Conoco and Phillips, I mean, those are two major employers there. A lot of them live in Owasso. They live in Tulsa. So a lot of the people there are going consistently to Tulsa, to Owasso, and it's just a bigger market. So I mean, Liz can correct me if I'm wrong, but we find ourselves in Tulsa a lot, Owasso some, but mainly Tulsa.
We always joke, like, if the housing market was a lot better, we'd move back to Tulsa, because before moving to Bartlesville, we were in Catoosa. So if all would work out.
But Bartlesville's great.
I know, it's good. It's been a blessing.
It's a blessing. Our family's there. The school system is phenomenal for Brooklyn and whatnot.
It's like small town, but not too small.
Yeah,
Like everybody knows you.
And there's great vendors there too
Yes.
for weddings. We have a handful of DJs, other photographers, other videographers, or whatever, and they're
Some of
all
which we
phenomenal.
worked with, like in Tulsa or Oklahoma City, like on weddings with. So it's always weird. It's like, oh, like.
So like being in that small community, what marketing strategies have you done to almost like get into like the city? So like in the past, on past episodes, I really talk about Facebook groups. I'm extremely active in them, and I know you guys are too.
Yeah.
But what kind of like marketing tools or like ways you're marketing yourself? What has worked?
Really, most of it I think has been like word of mouth.
Okay. Yeah.
Just like any vendor, like like a bridesmaid or a groomsman sees you working, and then it's always weird at the end of the day whenever you're packing up. They're like, "Hey, good job," and we're like, "You haven't seen the pictures yet." Like,
yeah.
But thanks. Or they like how personable or like just your vibe of the day, and so. That's really how we get most of ours, is just from friends of friends or family.
I think you kind of touched on it good too. I think a lot of people think about referrals just as the client, but there are like I think what's underrated is having good relationships with coordinators.
Oh,
Yes.
for sure.
Because coordinators are the ones they're literally almost picking the vendor for the client.
Shout out Chandler.
Yeah. Shout out Chandler. Yeah. No, she's got me bookings before.
For sure.
And so no, coordinators are like super crucial to have that relationship with, because anytime they're like, hey, the bride's like, I need a videographer, photographer, like you have that relationship where they just refer you every time.
Yep.
And that can lead to a lot.
I think also working with, like, on the wedding day, working really well with the wedding party too, because
They might get married.
a lot of times they're either planning a wedding themselves or going to get married within the next few years. So staying in contact with them, following them on socials, interacting with them, serving them, just like the bride and groom.
I think a lot of people that are like younger, they're still close in that friend group. Like if they're just out of high school or just out of college, if they're, a lot of that group, like if they're not married yet, they're probably be married soon.
Yes.
And so if their friend group is seeing a really high quality film or really high quality photos and they see that, they're like, oh, who is the person that did your wedding? And then that leads to something and stuff.
Liz actually just shot a wedding in Owasso not too long ago, and that was, I think, the third one of the friend group. So it's like, all of the friends are getting married. And Liz has kind of gotten in with
So
it.
it's nice. I was at the same church that I was at like 2 years ago, and the family was like, "Hey, nice to see you again," and everything. I was like, "Yeah." It's like, it's very weird. And even like my editor was like, have I seen this groomsman before? And it was the past groom.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I was wondering if you're going to notice or not. It's nice seeing familiar faces just in like a different light, I guess.
Yeah.
And
what
those are always really cool.
with being like photo video, and my wife and I are kind of working on trying to be photo video and stuff.
You can do it 100%. Tori, you can do it.
So what would you say, like, and you don't have to give us like an exact stat, but how much has have you seen bookings increase because now you offer video?
I don't know if we've seen an increase in bookings, but we're definitely getting more of a full package type deal. And it's nice that we can provide both of those. But it seems like our couples are coming to us kind of almost relying on us for like the whole day. Like maybe they don't have a coordinator or anything like that. They're coming, they're booking Liz, then we get them in the video or whatever.
Yeah.
And then now they're asking, okay, what coordinators, what, planners, what other vendors can you offer or can you recommend to help me out? It seems like they're coming to us with kind of that information.
I think with just anything, like when I used to work for a company that was in the trades, you know, they were offering plumbing, electric, HVAC all in one spot because it's kind of annoying having to like
Shop around.
shop
Oh,
around.
for sure.
But if like you're doing photo video all in one spot, it's like, oh well, it's a
Like,
breeze.
why not?
Plus, I think a lot of people are like, oh, you're a husband wife duo. Okay, so like you guys know each other really well. I mean, you're married, so like, I mean, like
Yeah.
you know, it just meshes well. I think people like, I think they just trust that. Rather than like go and finding separate vendors because
Right.
that's something very underrated when it goes into the wedding planning is I haven't really had a really bad experience, but there are times where you might like the photographer and videographer might like literally be fighting,
Oh, for sure.
and it's like crucial to make sure like you
Yeah.
get the right vendor.
That's right.
Yeah,
And we don't have a list like this, but I've heard of other people, they kind of have like a blacklist. And if you
Yeah.
make it
Yeah.
on that blacklist,
Yeah.
then like,
Yeah.
you know, they'll just say, I'm not going to work with you on
Yeah.
your day, even though I want to, but I'm not going to work with this photographer
Yeah.
or videographer or whatever.
yeah,
And
yeah. So Taylor, you work for a bank.
I do.
Right, bank. And
do.
Liz, you're a full-time creative business owner.
Yep.
And so one thing I kind of want to spotlight on is one thing that I kind of went through with my business was, you know, my wife and I are in the process of like, do we both want to go full-time? Because I'm already full-time. And I definitely believe everything could work. Could you kind of walk us through, like, Taylor, you would say that like videography is a pretty big passion for you, right?
It's up there.
Yeah. And
Well, I use one side of my brain.
Yeah.
in my W-2 job, right? And
Yeah.
then I use the complete opposite side.
yeah.
So it's nice to
Yeah.
work that muscle out per se.
Obviously working for that steady, and it's a good job.
And it's a plus to work with your wife. So
Hey, it is a plus. It is a plus.
What has it crossed your mind just to go full time as a videographer?
It's crossed my mind a few times. I wouldn't say I'm ready to do that yet, but maybe in the future. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of things that people forget about whenever you step away from a W-2 job, even though, you know, you get to run your own business, but there's a lot of back end costs that people forget about, like health insurance and, you know, retirement and things like that, that you have to be able to, you know, afford. I mean, I want to afford it. You have to supplement that, you know, those type of benefits. And if you're not maybe making enough to do that, you might be more fulfilled, and you'll eventually get there. But with the family and whatnot, maybe I'm just not a risk taker quite.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah. And I think whenever you jump from a W-2 job,
Maybe
I mean, it is a
I'm a
risk.
scaredy cat, man. Maybe that's what it is. You're brave.
That was
Teach me your ways.
literally quitting my job was like probably the only time I've ever had a panic attack in my life. I was so scared. So like
also it's probably a stress reliever too,
yeah,
which is a weird
yeah.
thing.
Because you touched on like you don't like corporate America. I think we're kind of like
I liked it to an extent. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously, like the paycheck was nice, the health insurance was
Yeah.
nice, and all of that. But then, like after you do it for so many time and like so many years
Yeah.
or days, weeks, whatever, then you're just like, this is literally just you go to work, you do the same thing every single
Yeah.
day. Go to work, come home. Go to work.
and
come
you
home.
felt like if you stay at the company for 40 years, did you feel like you could grow that much?
Possibly, yeah. But also it was a job that I didn't really see myself doing.
Okay.
Honestly, like I wasn't the person that grew up saying, "Oh, I want to do this." I've really never had my mind set on something, even though I'm like more of a creative person. But where I was working was more of like an oil and gas thing. So it didn't really suit my fancy, I guess. So
Yeah.
it didn't really like make me excited. The only thing that made me excited was like how good the pay was. And
Oil,
so it
oil
was
and gas doesn't excite you?
Yeah.
no.
Oh, come on.
What was your like when did you get laid off? Was that or did they,
Essentially, yeah. And
Okay.
thankfully, my boss at the time, she was awesome, and she kind of let me know, like, hey, with this, if COVID actually starts shutting down businesses for a period of time, like your name has been thrown out there simply because your contract you haven't actually signed and became full time.
Yeah. Yeah.
If that makes sense.
I was going to ask you though, like once you didn't have that job, where was your mindset? Like what was going through your head of like on the photo side? Like were you like, this is do or die. I'm going to make this work. Like, where was your mindset?
Like whenever I lost my job.
Yeah, like,
I think that was my mindset. I
Yeah.
was like, dude, you're the man of the house. What are we gonna do? Why
Like,
I just got laid off? I'm like, how do
and
we
I was
make
at the
this
point
work?
I was still going to school.
Mhm.
So that was
Oh,
this
okay.
one. That was also one of the stipulations of like me becoming full time was I need to actually have my diploma like in hand. And so I was like, I remember we were sitting in our living room in like our little condo, and Brooklyn was born, and she was a few months old or whatever. It was before we bought our house. And I was like, maybe I want to go into nursing. Like maybe I studied graphic design.
Mhm.
And I was like, a whole different pivot. Like, what can I do with graphic design that's going to give me like a full time job?
Mhm.
Because you just hear of like starving artists and
Yeah,
all of that
yeah.
stuff. And, but then I thought, I was like, well, I'd have to start school all over again. I already went like a year or two longer than I was supposed to.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just done with school. So it was, but I was applying for jobs like all the time that I could.
Mhm.
And then I don't know what brought photography up for you, but I was like, we were in Bartlesville at the time whenever he brought that up. And
I was like, you know how to do, editing, and you
Yeah.
I took one Photoshop class.
like, you can do it. I have 100% faith.
So that proves, right? You would say like, you take these classes in school or whatever. Like,
That definitely helped a lot.
yeah. So you feel like you did learn a lot from school.
On like the software side of stuff,
Okay,
yes.
okay.
I
That's
never
yeah.
actually took like a photography class.
Okay. Yeah.
If like I guess he essentially taught me, but we learned from YouTube University.
Okay, no joke. I think every episode that we've just shot, that's like
That's what
every
they
word YouTube University.
But
every
a
single
lot of
time.
it is
It's-
trial
Yeah.
and error, though.
Yeah.
Like, you just have to get out and try.
We on episode 1 we talked about if like college is worth it or not and things like that. And I feel like for me it wasn't necessarily that college was worth it for what I learned. It was worth it because of the people I met.
Yeah.
Because I live in Northwest Arkansas. I'm 2 hours away from the town that I went to college in, but I'm close enough where I still get gigs in that area just because I know the people and stuff. I feel like that's how it's benefited me the most, school and stuff. But there were definitely like I feel like it's one of those things like until you're actually like instead of just reading a textbook on like this is where your aperture needs to be and this and that, you're not gonna really learn and get good until you actually do it.
No, especially in weddings, because every single day is different. I mean, there's kind
Very
of like
different.
There's kind of a basic structure.
You've got
but-
days it's gonna rain. You've got days where ceremony's inside, not outside.
That's right.
I mean, honestly, a big thing is like the time change.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you guys, we both
Sure.
Yes.
we both have dealt with so bad situations with that where it's like
But also if like this is the person's first time getting married, so like I wouldn't have thought
yeah,
of
yeah.
the time change
Yeah.
whenever we got married. So it's like you almost have to be like an educator to them in a sense, but also like I don't know how to say it. Like you don't want to be pushy and be
wanna
like
guide them.
you're dumb because you're not thinking
Yeah.
of the daylight.
Yeah.
You
And
want to steer them in a certain direction.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
that's beneficial to them to where it causes less stress.
Mm-hmm.
Because like if you're having a ceremony and the sun is setting, you didn't see each other before. Like,
Yeah.
what are we gonna do?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like being able to pivot and stuff helps. a
Yeah,
lot.
it's not just about being good behind the camera. It's also good with time management.
Time
with
management,
weddings,
Yes.
specifically. Yeah, very much so. I think no matter who you are, you're gonna have a client that's hard to deal with, and that's okay. That's just part of it. How do you deal with negative client feedback?
I take it personal. So I cry. I really do. I get stressed out and then I
I
cry.
think we all at least cry on the inside a little bit.
Oh, I cry on the outside. So. If I'm being honest, and it like ruins my day.
Yeah.
If her day's ruined, my day's ruined.
Yeah,
So it affects both of us here.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, Tori and I are the same way. You know,
Yeah.
if she's going through a struggle or whatever, I feel the same way.
Well, he says like, "Be like a duck, let it roll off your back." I was like,
It's hard.
It's
I
so
ain't.
hard.
I'm not a duck.
so
I think
It's
what's
not
so
working.
hard being a creative person is you care so much, you have so much passion for it, that it's like when you get negative feedback, it just feels like
It feels personal.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like for me, I've been doing videography since I was 13. And so it's like if you got judged on something you haven't really trained or learned much on, you don't care.
Right.
You know, like for me, I stink at cooking. If someone tells me my cooking's bad, I don't care because I haven't actually. But you know, with video, it's like I've spent over a decade
Right.
learning, and it's like if I have somebody that tells me it's bad, I want to learn from it, like because I'm always going to learn something. But you do take it more personally because you genuinely care and stuff.
I think laying expectations before the
Yeah,
session
that's
or
crucial.
before the wedding, you have to outline those expectations. So everybody, the bride and the groom, yourself, everybody's on the same page and you kind of know what to expect.
Can you give us some examples of that? So like if there's someone watching this, listening in, and they're in the wedding industry, what should they be laying out ahead of time for because I think a lot of times when you start, you're booking it, you're just having that one communication contact, you book it, and then you don't see them until the day of. I think and that's just part of the learning process. But like what should photographers and videographers do to prep to make sure the day goes good on their end?
Well, I think it's a better question to ask, like, what can the client ask the photographer or videographer for
that's fair.
to help like understand kind of
They'll
what they're
take both,
getting?
like just full transparency. I think it's like we tell our like clients, like I'm an open book. Like there's no question that's a dumb question because we've been doing this. We've attended more weddings than you probably ever have, and
But
so
they should be asking for, especially in 2026 with like AI and whatnot.
Yeah.
You should be asking for full photo galleries for sure.
Yeah.
You should be the client should be stalking like your Instagram account, watching all of the content, and everything like that. So definitely like do a deep dive into the vendors that they're looking into booking because I mean who knows what's out there now.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and especially don't just go with someone just because of the price because I mean like
No.
anything you're gonna pay, you're gonna get what you pay for essentially. Not saying like I don't know. There's some people that they probably charge a lot, but their quality of stuff maybe might not be as good as someone that's cheaper. So
Yeah.
it's like you really have to do the homework, look into everything. Don't let price mostly like dictate who you hire because on that end, then you're automatically going to have like a sour taste in your mouth if you get something back and it's not $10,000 worth of work when you're paying like $5,000.
I think honestly too for like you know if you're a videographer, photographer, I would say for a bride or groom that's looking into your services, if you're not doing much communication, that should be a red flag to them just because in actually Oklahoma specifically, I've seen this most, but like vendor scams. So like everybody's different with the way they do their booking process, but like, you know, normally they're going to pay a deposit to lock their date in with you and they pay the rest later, whatever. So with vendor scams, you know, they don't want to hop on a call with you. You know, that's a red flag, you know, if they don't want to get on the phone with you. And so if you're not like calling your client, like having that client call ahead of time, that should sort of be a red flag to them. But yeah, there's been, you know, vendor scams, like, you know, they take the deposit and then they don't show up the day of the wedding. And so just people like as creative business owners, we need to like do all the prep work we can to make sure they honestly feel 100% that nothing's going to go wrong.
Yeah.
And just comfortable.
Yeah, we don't want them to think that like they're going to get scammed or we're, you know, just things like that.
I know I'm terrible at this, but one thing that we can do as vendors is we can post behind the scenes footage. And I think that's really popular now. I'm so terrible at it.
Yeah.
I need to get some meta glasses
That's what,
for sure. But I think that helps save us because then you can actually hear us, you know, working with clients and you can see how the wedding day is looking.
Because what scammers are doing, they're literally making their own page.
That's it.
And then like dipping out.
That's
it's
it.
like it's almost, and in the Facebook groups that we've talked about, some Facebook groups will like some of them you can't even join if you're not in the state. But they're almost watching to make sure like that's another thing.
They have like stipulations to
reviews.
enter the group. Yeah.
Reviews are a big thing because if you don't have reviews, those Facebook groups think that you are a scammer.
Yep.
Right.
And so that's another thing. Are you guys active in getting reviews?
So we send out a kind of like a post-wedding questionnaire type deal, and we have like an internal review process, I would say. We do have quite a few on Facebook. Google, not so much.
I would rather I would go to Facebook to review someone before I do Google.
Yeah.
But if you, I'm looking, I'm looking at our clients in that camera right there. If you see this, please go leave us a review. Please.
That's awesome.
It helps us. It's for real.
It's
it helps
crucial.
so much.
It helps so much.
Not only sharing the content, but actually writing like a thoughtful review. If it was good, if it's bad, keep it yourself and email us. But no, for real though, like it goes a long way.
It does.
It goes a long way in the Facebook groups and then like
Just
Or even like whenever you deliver like gallery or the video, it's like actually like responding, which I mean, I haven't had that issue very frequently. It's like just saying, "Oh my gosh, we love it," or like something like that. Like that kind of counts as a review to me. But then we've had some couples that like take the time to actually like, "We love that you were a husband and wife team. It made us feel more comfortable." And like on some engagement sessions prior to like the wedding, I was like, well, it'll probably be easier because Taylor will be there. And sometimes words are hard, so it's easier to like show a pose or a prompt or something with someone, especially it's a lot easier whenever you know the person. And we've always heard it's like, that's so much easier. Like it's so like, I don't know what it's almost like calming, I guess, that we know each other, we're comfortable with each other, because we tell our couples like, as long as you guys are comfortable with each other, like you've done half the work. And we're just gonna be your own personal like paparazzi, I guess, for the day, but also not be super invasive.
Yeah.
do you get reviews on Google and on the internet and whatnot? Not so much social media. But.
Yeah. So for me, actually I started, it's funny because you brought up Facebook. I started going really all in on Facebook. And then because I personally don't just do weddings, I learned a lot from the corporate space, and I've invested in an SEO person to like help me to try, like if people Google, like I get popped up, and he's guided me that I need to focus on Google more so. I still think Facebook is good, but it's just, I'm just going to trust the expert, I guess, that kind of a thing. But I've probably got like 20 reviews on Facebook, which is good. And now I'm just focusing all of them on Google and stuff. But, and I think SEO is like super crucial. I mean, for, like for instance, for weddings, like, and it can apply with social media too. But like let's just say, for instance, someone's eloping to Tulsa. They are going to go to Google, or they're going to go to Instagram, and they're going to type in.
You're probably going to go to ChatGPT, man.
Or that, honestly, that's very, honestly, I've kind of slept on that. Like that's a very good point. Yeah, because all of us now seems like we're going to ChatGPT to get advice on everything. Yeah, that's a very good point.
I think you're hitting the head on the nail. You need to focus on SEO as a vendor. And
I feel like I always tell people that SEO is a non-sexy form of marketing.
Oh, for sure.
But it's necessary. It's the offensive lineman of marketing.
That's actually a really good.
I mean, because like you gotta have it. I mean, it's crucial. I want to kind of go back into like feedback with clients for the people listening in, because they're gonna deal with negative feedback. Can you, obviously no naming names or anything like that, can you give us an example of something you went through and how you solved it from a client?
Well, I think a lot of it just comes with communication, right? If there's something wrong with, your photo gallery or your video, we have to know, right? Yeah. Or we want to know. If you don't tell us, then we can't help, right? Yeah. So it starts there.
Or at least we can say, yes, we can fix this, or no, we can't. Like.
Yeah.
But also that goes back to most contracts. My contract, your contract says this, but it says that you did your homework and you looked at our work and they signed it. So even if they didn't, they still signed the contract. Right. Yep. They were supposed to do their homework to go view what your work is, because you don't this happened to me today, actually. I had a bride, reach out to me. I'm filming their wedding later this year. And, they send you like an example of like what they're liking and stuff, but it's literally not your style. It's nothing like what, and it's like, that's what I would, try to hone in on if you're trying to book more weddings as a videographer, photographer. Like, tell your client ahead of time, hey, did you view my work? Are you totally satisfied with what I can do? I was actually telling you, Taylor, that I had somebody from Oklahoma City reach out to me. And based on like some of the red flags of what they were saying, you know, I would rather not book something and not deal with the headache
Right.
than
sure.
book it and then just have, you know, deal with a client that just had, they just thought things that just were not going to happen.
Well, they have those expectations, right? And they're not in the industry, right? They
Yeah.
don't really know. So again, it's our job to help kind of guide them, but also like if it's not our fit, I know we've turned down
Yeah.
probably dozens of weddings that you know it's not going to work. Like
No.
the Pinterest board they're sending or the examples of the video, like it's just not going to work. That's not something that we can provide, and that's kind of the hard part about social media because style shoots aren't real weddings, right? Those
No.
are always going viral and whatnot. You see stuff like that all the time.
Yeah.
But there's just so much content out there, and who knows if it's real, like a real wedding day,
Yeah.
or not.
So wild. That's so crazy to think about. With like going along like the bookkeeping and like contract side of things. So you guys use HoneyBook?
Yes.
Yeah. So I use HoneyBook as well. And I just want to throw out there just really fast to all the people watching that if you use the link in the description, you will get a discount off if you're wanting to use HoneyBook. And so HoneyBook I'm sure for you guys too, it's been so nice. So, you know, you can automate things so you don't have to manually go in and like, you know, every time somebody emails you, you don't have to go through, you can literally automate stuff. You can send the questionnaires out. You can send the link that you were talking about for reviews to give us your feedback and like you don't have to touch anything. But what I've liked so much about the HoneyBook process is being able to like really, and I know this seems kind of like every software does it, but just like being able to like look at like year to date, like seeing what my profit loss is, but I'm being able to like go month to month and see what I actually made.
Right.
And so like it's just nice to be able to track all of that all in one place. But I have used that since I started my business and haven't changed since then. But how important is it for you whenever you start your business to make sure you've got your contracts and your bookkeeping like you have that set?
Well, when we first started, we used Square, which
Yeah.
Square is great, but at the time you couldn't do everything in one spot. So we were invoicing in one section, and then I think we even like printed off like paper or whatever
We did that once.
to have somebody sign. Like that's how
Yeah.
it's terrible, but very
But
important.
also our volume wasn't what it is now.
Yeah,
so
that's
that
fair.
was a little easier to navigate through. But we almost had to use like two different things. I can't remember exactly what it was.
But HoneyBook definitely helps everything in one spot, and like the automations is like it's phenomenal.
Yeah.
We have automations set up from like the time somebody inquires all the way until the post wedding questionnaire goes out, and it's there to help the client. Essentially, it's also there to help us too, and it's if you're a creative, it's gonna help you for sure.
Another thing I want to touch on with you both, you guys for your business because you guys have a daughter, family is very important to you. And some of the people listening in, they might be solo or whatever, but for the people listening in who are married, have kids or they're just married, how do you balance work and being with family? Because because if you take on quite a bit, it is hard to like,
Yeah.
Especially when both parents do said thing and you're gone at the same time. We've been very fortunate to have like my parents are in the town that we live in, and then his parents are in Stillwater, which is like a happy medium between Tulsa and Oklahoma City. And so they're living and thriving, and they actually want to help us, and they enjoy helping us with watching our daughter. And like they're like, okay, when's the next one? Like, let us know. And then sometimes if we don't have one for a while, they're kind of like, what's going on? Like, can we see her? Like,
another thing though too is editing, because you guys you're shooting.
Don't get me started, man.
Because I've kind of, even for my business right now, I'm learning that like I want my time back. Like,
Time is the most valuable thing, for sure.
And like you can always make money. Like money's always going to be there, but like your time with your family, like, Brooklyn's going to grow up. My son's going to grow up. And it's like now is the time to spend time with them. And the beautiful thing about owning your own creative business is that you can actually be there for her. Like, I'm imagining like when my son grows up, he's in school, like, I'm not going to be missing sports games because I dictate like my time frame and stuff
Right.
like that. And I think that's like so nice when you work for yourself. Like you don't have to miss those moments.
Right.
So,
We both work with editors on the back end and whatnot,
Yep.
and they handle a lot of the dirty work, which we're super thankful for that.
Yeah.
But we're starting to run into the weekend issues. Now we're working not every weekend, but
Yeah.
if you shoot 25, 30 weddings a year or whatever, then
Yeah.
that's half the year. So you're gone half the weekends.
Yeah.
And now like sports games are on Saturdays, gymnastics.
That's true.
Brooklyn
Yeah,
does
very
gymnastics,
true.
like that's a Saturday, Sunday thing. So that's going to be the next thing. Like, how do we pivot? How do we figure something else out to
Have you had
kinda
certain
accommodate?
years where maybe you dialed it down? Like, maybe you had a lot one year and you're like, man, we need to be like having more time together. Would you like kind of lower what you were doing?
I think if we were to do that, I think I don't know. We haven't really talked about it, but I think like if we were to lessen the number that we take, then we would end up increasing our prices.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I think anybody would do that.
Yeah.
And
That's a good point. Yeah.
I don't know.
With that, there'd be, maybe a different style. Of,
I think it's important to talk about,
Deliverable.
right? You want to get in the point in your business where you can charge more but work less.
Yeah.
Essentially, right? Like
That's like hiring like associate or something like that.
just as an example, like if you're a beginner and you're charging $1,000 for a wedding, if it's going to take 5 weddings for you to make 5,000. Well, if you get to a point where you're more established, maybe you can do 2 weddings for 5,000 a piece, or just you're 2,500 each. Whatever. The goal is that you will get to a point where you're more skilled to where like you can literally charge more for what you're doing and you have more time back. So instead of being gone 4 weekends in 1 month, you might just be gone 2.
Yeah.
Stuff like
Yeah, we've dialed it. No, I wouldn't say back, but we've dialed back the number of months. Like we won't take as much on during the summer just because Brooklyn's out of school
Oh, okay.
and
Yeah.
whatnot. So we're really
And also,
big.
it's just blazing hot.
We're-
So
I
nobody
will
wants to get
say,
married in the
do you
summer.
guys kind of, when it's like fall, do you just take advantage of it?
That's what I was going to
Because-
say.
Yeah.
We're like
Yeah.
really busy during the busy season, but then in the off season, we're not
Yeah.
busy at all. So
Yeah.
we're really busy like
Yeah.
September, October, November, and then December, January, February, like there's nothing really. And then same thing for like April, May, we're like slammed, right? And we're just working as much as we can.
Yeah.
And then taking the rest off to spend time. So
Yeah.
that's kind of how we balance it now anyway.
As we kind of wrap up, one thing I kind of wanted to get, and it can be Taylor or Liz either way, but for someone out there who thinks it's impossible to be a creative person, have a full-time business, like I'm going to have to always work for corporate, what would you tell them?
Go ahead, Liz, since you do that. Talk to me.
Speech.
I'd say it's very scary. And I think I literally just told our daughter this yesterday because we were trying to get a dang tooth out. I was like, you can't let fear like dictate something for you all the time, because it's normally in like those uncomfortable moments that you end up growing some way or learning something for like the better. So I think it helps whenever you have a good support system, but also like you just got to have faith that you're going to do the work for it. You're going to, I don't know, if you have like faith in God that he's going to provide for you because he did for us, and just, I don't know, just kind of go in all in for it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's always jobs everywhere. So worst case, you go back,
Exactly.
but at least you can say you tried.
Just got to take a step.
Yeah.
Ever seen that? I saw it the other day. Actually, it's a meme, but it's a picture of a ladder, right?
Yeah.
And there's a guy on the right,
Yeah.
on one ladder, and a guy on the left on kind of a broken ladder. The slats are kind of slanted or whatever. But the guy on the right wasn't moving, but the guy on the left, even though the steps were crooked, he was still going up. So I think that's part of our job. Like we can't let fear hinder us, right? We have to be willing to take a step and just try sometimes. And even if it doesn't work out, well, that's all fine because we can pivot and do something else. We
100%.
can learn from that and try again, right?
Sweet.
It's like my mom always says, like, if you aren't making a decision, yes or no, like living in indecision is making a decision. So even though you're not doing anything or you're not going for it, you're still staying stagnant in indecision. So like you got to make a choice either way, and then you just got to see how it turns out, I guess.
Yeah.
And hopefully it turns out for the better.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah. Well, we want to thank you guys from traveling from Oklahoma down to Northwest Arkansas. You guys gave us a lot of good like feedback just on what it's been like and the family dynamic. That's something I think that people don't think about as much. And so I want to thank you for that. And thank you everybody for tuning in. We're so excited to just continue this community. And we will see you all in the next one.
Thank you for having us, Tristan. book TR Creative for all your business and weddings and everything, because he does literally everything.
But if you're busy, we'll take them.